Hello, I'm Verdi Augusto, and this is the Schumann Resonance Harmonics channel on YouTube and on Facebook. Thank you for being here. It is the 30th of January. It's like almost 9 in the evening on the East Coast time. It was overall a pretty nice day today. Outside it was kind of sunny, but it was chilly, and I get to have a nice bike ride today. And I'm grateful for when these days happen. Thank you, and I hope you had a very nice, wonderful day today. Thank you for being here. If you're new, or if you've been around for a while, even still, like, share, comment, subscribe. Make sure you're still subscribed. Make sure you hit the little bell underneath to make sure that you get all of the notifications that are coming out from me. And your favorite YouTubers. Also, thank you for the comments. Thank you for the love, the continued support. I appreciate you being here, especially the terrific 10, as I like to call them. These are the ones that regularly post pretty much, every time there's a group of you, family. Thank you very much. All right. So, okay. So this is, it was time to do this. I had to do this. I have, the preface to this is that we have made numerous videos and presentations that discuss the amplitude spikes related to earthquakes. So this is not, to us, new to discuss this. However, as we keep looking at, in the public's eye, as it's in the the spotlight, the data from Kumyania and other VLF stations. I talk about people about Schumann resonance monitoring, and a lot of times they're talking about VLF stations because there are, statistically speaking, more VLF, ELF, LF stations that are that are out there that are looking for earthquakes through the means of the lower frequency vibes. So, because there is more and more increasing availability to data, and people are able to get this and whatever. And I've shown 4 or 5 different, monitoring stations from VLF.IT that are 3 or 4. 5, I think, maybe, that are related to this CN, Central Italian Electromagnetic Network. I'm pretty sure those 5 are all part of that I've shown in the past, and I will be showing. When I do live streams and I'm talking about antennas or I'm talking about VLF or earthquakes, I refer to those 5 websites from the different Rome, Romagna, Etna, the ULFO, for those who've been around for a little bit, these will be familiar to you. Okay, so, and if you're new here, welcome. Stick around. It gets hopefully a little better. I try and keep this at the average everyday person level, but a lot of this is, me translating stuff that really is, complicated stuff. So you can only dumb down, so to speak, this highly technical stuff down to a certain level that it's like, well, you just got to increase your vocabulary and the lexicon, hang around and you'll get the lexicon of this. All right. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to present a few different parts to the same. I'm still in the preface. All right. So this was an article that I had got in my. This right here is an article. In case you can't tell, this is the title of it. That's the author, who they are, and abstract. Okay, so those who've been around for a while are familiar with me. This is a familiar part. This is the familiar format that I have, that I present these the scholarship on this. I'm not just speaking. Monkeys aren't just flying out of my butt. I know what I know because I read. I read a lot. I read more than you. That's how I know as much as I do. You can tell a lot about a person by what they have on their book stand, at their the reading spot. Most people it's before they go to bed, but some people it's a chair. So at the spot you read at before you go to bed, what's your reading? Well, as I check my email before the end of the night, I'm looking. I have a subscription to academia.edu that sends out this. This was one of my email updates that I got. My hobby reading is this, and so this came the other day, a couple days ago, brand new, fresh off the press. I'm not sure when it was published. I didn't quite get that information. I'm going to have to go back to the original, I don't as of yet have a link for it because I got to research it. I got this as a link through academia.edu. Okay, and so the name, if we look, doing some research, probably by the next one I'll have more complete research of this. But anyway, so that's the title and the name, and you can kind of do some research as well with me, and you could find it. You potentially, if I found it, you could find it. I'll just say that. I just am more diligent in these things, and I have more time. That's why I'm able to come across this stuff, and I get it that I read it. And I'm like, oh, this came at a perfect timing of these. I had just wanted to do a reference from Qumyania to see what their readings were, and then I got this. And so I was like, oh, crap, this is perfect. This is synchronistic, even for me, my impeccable timing. This seemed perfect because as we see more and more of these data spikes, more and more access to this data, people need to understand what the other part behind it is. Again, so you have proper understanding of what you're seeing. This isn't Schumann resonance data. Right? So don't pull it out as Schumann. This is what's happening in the Schumann resonance when it's part of all of this, the VLF, LF, ULF electromagnetic emissions. So this was all right. So getting on to what we're doing here. This is going to be the part one, which is the abstract. The abstract comes before the introduction in the scientific literature. So I'm going to, this is an introduction to this series here. Like this is the first one where I'm talking about, I'm not ready for that yet. There we go. Now I'm ready for that. All right. So I'm going to be going into more detail in the introduction. So I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to open it up, and we're going to go into more detail. But this is just the abstract. This is just the front page of what we're doing here, run through of the next few videos. All right, because it's time to start understanding what the connection between these amplitude spikes are and earthquake prediction. These are the connection is not between these spikes of amplitude and the Schumann resonances. They didn't design these stations for picking up Schumann resonances. Tomsk did. Okay. All right. So I've given a lot of talk about Tomsk. I've given it Tomsk, Tomsk space observing system. Out of Tomsk, the Russian site, I call that, and I'll be going into more about them in the future. But this in particular is not about the Russians, and even if they're having earthquakes there, that's fine. That might be marginally included in this, and I'm all right, that's a kind of footnote. That's fine. We look for that as well. Earthquake data related to their Schumann resonances, and that's fine. Okay. But you got to remember, this is a VLF and a ULF station, okay, here in Qumyania in northwest Italy. So because there's a spike here, because there's this activity, spikes, there is a series of spikes, you can see it. It's this all kind of jaggedy, sawtooth edge, kind of in this almost rhythmic pattern of release coming in. Like this is seismic activity, you see. And this right here is seismically related, okay? So I'm introducing you, in case you haven't, seen this, or, this is new, or or you've seen it from me and forgot about it, or wherever we are on this dial of, the having seen the Kumeyania data before, I am presenting this to you as a complete narrative of their tools that they use. This is the Geophon, and I've gone through this before. I've done this. I've talked about this in live streams. I've talked about this in other videos, but once again, I'm going to go over this more completely in the next phase, the introduction. So as I just introduce the overall topics, get the 20,000-foot flyover, as it were, the 23,978-foot flyover, as we were, I'm introducing the relationship with seismic activity here. This is the Geophon. This is seismic activity. And this right here are bursts of amplitude which are associated with seismic activity. And in case you didn't believe me, not that you don't, but in case you don't, okay, and you shouldn't, this right here, we have the data on, the research from these guys in Georgia. And I'm pretty sure it's Georgia like Russia. So, all right, we have, okay, we're not that far from Tomsk. They know this as well, okay, but they're not measuring the range of earthquake behavior. They're measuring only the range. Tomsk University is measuring only the range of Schumann resonances that fall below, 40 hertz. And there is one more resonance in the series that goes above that, and there may be even another one above that, but, that one's, whatever. The one above that, universally agreed, the one above that would be at 46 hertz. So capping at 40 hertz horizontal frequency, as Tomsk does, this is a fine and dandy enough domain, I guess I'm trying to find the right word, or limitation for Tomsk at 40 hertz, because they're not measuring for earthquakes, right? So these right here, Kumeyania, are measuring the amplitude portion of the program here with their Marconi type antenna, okay? And that's what they tell you. I've shown you. We've gone to the page before. I'll show you again as needed. And in the case of these series of spikes of amplitude, we want to discuss and talk about this abstract material here from Kachidze. Okay, I know I'm not pronouncing that correctly, but bear with me. You see what I'm working with here. Kachidze, if you will. MK and NK. To make it even more interesting, thank you, folks. I'm wondering if they're brother and sister, or brother, or married, or whatever. So anyway, it doesn't matter. Fun. So anyway, as his paper came to my doorstep, basically through my email, I thought it's appropriate that we run through this and discuss the relation of seismic activity to the VLF data that comes out of Kumeyania. And you see this, again, I think I've mentioned this rhythmic pattern here, this sawtooth yet rhythmic pattern, and you see less of it here, but it's still fairly odd, fairly clear. We're going up to like 400 or so here. Anyway, so we are, because it's proper and it's timely, and quite honestly, if I don't talk about this, who's going to? Right? If you don't see this from me, where were you going to see it? I don't know. I mean, if it's earthquakes, you go to Dutch, but he's not doing this. He's not reading this. That's not quite under his domain. It is, but it's not. Like, I'm sure he'd read it, and he may give a mention of it, but he's not going to read it like I do, because it falls under my domain, because of the confusion with these VLF waves and the amplitude waves and Schumann resonances. Okay. So it's important to know the relationship. I've talked about this before. It's relevant. It was relevant yesterday. It was relevant the week before that. It's relevant today, right now. It'll be relevant tomorrow. It'll be relevant the week after that. You see these spikes of amplitude that are happening at the same time every day, right? And this one almost nearly at the same time, right? And then these rolling kind of waves that are not, these are rolling T waves, right? Like you've seen the Rubens tube. Are these not Rubens tube waves? Look at that. Tell me that. Like I don't know. I'm off my rocker. I don't know. You know. I mean, I know. Okay, so we're introducing the connection of these crazy of the geophon, which is a relatively new concept to a lot of people. The seismic waves that are connected to these low frequency waves, rolling waves. Okay, these are pressure waves. Okay. Okay, so we're going to be talking about this in more length, in more detail, at more length in the next section. I'm probably going to do this as a premiere. I'm not sure how I'm going to do the other one, but I do, as those of you who've been around for a little while know, I'm starting to make modules. The abstract is a module, the introduction, and and then in the live stream I'll talk at more length about it, and so hopefully, the live stream goes all over the place. So who knows what I'll do? But anyway, the clear stated intention of it is to discuss these at more length, okay, and to encourage people in making their own antenna even, So this is sort of one of the things that we're looking at of people with is how to read the data on the meter reading from the place it's coming from, right? You have to look at this material here, not necessarily or not only. I mean, if you're going to talk about the Schumann, that's fine, but I'm the Schumann guy, and I'm telling you that these spikes of VLF material should not be confused with Schumann readings. Okay? Believe what you will. It's not off the chart. Okay? It's within the chart of the earthquake people. So the reason they have these stations is to help them predict. This is Cumiana, along with a series of other stations in Italy that are used for predicting earthquake they're used for predicting earthquake data. I'm kind of a little confused at the words I should use here. But essentially, this is why they have spent all the money they have on these antenna and the stations, is because they're looking for the connection of seismic with VLF amplitude waves. Okay. So it's really important because people keep asking about this. This is a common thing. What is this? And so I want to have, at least for myself, one good solid video or a series of videos on one paper that explains the connection between the amplitude spikes and earthquakes, and that those amplitude spikes they're saying are not related to Schumann resonance material or Schumann resonance harmonics, but it is from a different source causing the anomalous readings in the spectro of Cumiana and other places. The Etna, I've shown them. Okay, and I will continue to show them. So stick around and comment. Make sure that you're notified. You get your notifications, and keep coming over to the channel. Comment on my old videos. Let's talk. Let's chat. I answer all the questions that are put to me And sometimes it's like, well, let me think about that, and I do my best. And some hey, I can't answer everything. I'm not God, and even God doesn't know some stuff. God's like, I don't know. It's humans. Like, ask another human. And that's what God says to me. Like, I'm sitting there with the source creator. Like, he listens to my question. He's like, I don't know. I can't tell you. You got to ask a human that. Like, there's human stuff even God couldn't answer. So anyway, 20 minutes. All right. So okay. So all right. So that's the part A of that. This is the part B of this. We're introducing apples to apples here. Okay. All right. Prediction. This says prediction capabilities of VLF LF, which is very low frequency and low frequency emissions as the main precursor of earthquake. And this is MK Kakidze, as it were. Okay, I'm not great with the name. I'll apologize. St. Andrew the First called Georgian University. So I'm assuming that's Georgia, over there in Russia land. Abstract. Recent satellite and ground-based observations proved that in earthquake preparation period in the seismogenic area, we have VLF/LF and ULF electromagnetic emissions. Okay, according to the opinion of the authors of the present paper, this phenomena is more universal and reliable than other earthquake indicators. Oh, you don't say. Okay. Hypothetically, in case of availability of adequate methodological grounds in the nearest future, Earth, VLF/LF, very low frequency and low frequency electromagnetic emissions, might be declared as the main precursor of earthquake. In particular, permanent monitoring of frequency spectrum of Earth electromagnetic emission generated in the earthquake preparation period might turn out very useful with the view of prediction of large magnitude 5 inland earthquakes. The present paper offers a scheme of the methodology according to which the reality of the above given hypothesis can be checked up. To prove the prediction capabilities of Earth electromagnetic emission, we have used avalanche-like unstable model of fault formation and an analogous model of electromagnetic contour, synthesis of which, according to our opinion, is rather harmonious. Doesn't that sound like fun, wonderful, exciting reading? It does to me. Look at it. It's rather harmonic. Oh, harmonious. Well, okay, there you go. We are Schumann resonance harmonics, and if it doesn't sound harmonic, then we're not interested. So, right there. Bam to the blam bam. Okay. So, this is exciting. Grab your popcorn. I'm going to, I think I might do this as a premiere and then have the other one ready to go live, to play it live, and then we can, talk after that or something like that. I don't know. But, the next portion will be its own separate standalone video that's put out as its own standalone separate video. Okay, and I've talked about that and the reason why, and thank you all for being here. Thank you all for sticking along with the narrative of what's going on here, and maybe someday there will be a book on this, but until then, there's my WordPress, which is free. So go over there, subscribe to it. I have 2 people. Thank you both. And Patreon. I do stuff on Patreon. That's a book. If you want to pay for a book, go to subscribe to Patreon. If you're to buy a book, go to Patreon. Anyway, if it's there in the cards, it'll happen. Anyway, in the meantime, there was this. So, thank you all for being here. This will conclude this portion of this section on predictive capabilities of the VLF. Which is basically connecting VLF readings to earthquake prediction, okay? And that's why, once again, Italy, Comiania, spends, their country spends so much money on earthquake prediction and measuring, or they spend so much money on the measuring is for earthquake prediction. Okay, all right. So on that cheery note, okay, that'll end this. Thank you for being here, and I appreciate all the comments, love the support, and thank you all. I will see you shortly. Thank you.